From the time he was just little bitty and growing up, he would stop and he would make the phrase, "My head popped." I can remember a couple of times, like he had vertigo or something, his balance would be off. And I'd taken him to the doctor and I said to him, "I think he's got an inner ear infection because his balance is not right." And he said, "Have you ever had CAT scan did on him?" Said, "He's got a big head for his age." And I said, "Well, he's just got an old big egg head like his dad. His dad has a really big head, you know." As he grew, it was more frequent that he would stop and make the phrase, "My head popped." And he would always grab his head. And I can remember one day I was cleaning a house and Mike called where I was working at, and he said, "Ben has come down with a virus." Said he's just vomiting and he just really doesn't feel real well. And I said, "Well, I'll be home shortly. I'm almost done here." And I can remember one night after the girls had a volleyball game and I had went over to school to pick them up. And on the way back, he got right down in the floorboard and was screaming with a headache, just screaming. And he's 4 years old. So the next morning I got up and I took him to Dr. Roberto, and I told him, I said, "There's something wrong with him. He's having horrible headaches. And he reminded me that he had wanted at an earlier stage to do a CAT scan on him. I don't know the reason why I didn't, but you know, everything has a time in God's eyes. So we were sitting there, and as we were waiting for the scan to take place, he went into one of his really bad headaches, his vomiting and his headaches. And Mike started crying, and even with him having his headache and his sickness, he picked up a little book off of the stand and he handed it to his dad. And he said, "Here, Dad, read this. It'll make you feel better." And it said, "Let not your heart be troubled." So just with that little gesture of him giving him that book comforted our heart so much. They did the CAT scan, and the tumor was so large that they didn't even have to shoot that. I can remember the day that we went back to the doctor to get the results of the CAT scan, and I looked at Mike because I didn't know what he was going to do. And at this point, the tumor had grown so big that it was growing over his spinal column. The day of his surgery was October the 25th, 1985. He was taken from us early in the morning, and we got him back late in the evening. After 12 hours of surgery, they came out, and Ben had his head half shaved. His little face was so swollen because he was on steroids, and almost looked like an alien in a way. They told us numerous things that could happen during this surgery. Of course, he could have died during the surgery. Some of them was paralysis. He may not be able to move this or that, or he may not know you. There was several things. It ended up, his tumor was called an astrocytoma, which was a non-cancerous tumor. He came through that by the grace of God with no side effects whatsoever. And I can remember one day taking him in for just a checkup, and his doctor said, "Do you care if I show him to some of the other staff here?" Said, "We've never ever had a patient to have the surgery that he's had and have no side effects." And once again, we just saw God's grace in our life.